The Golden Rule Coaches Show is located at 606 South Church Street in Georgetown, Texas. Each drinks unmatched atmosphere. Above all else, goodwill, friendship, and kind regard.
The Georgetown Eagles were the visitors against the Bastrop Bears, a 9-4 victory, and this team continues to roll on 12-1 in district play.
Yeah, it was a good win. It's nice to be home. It was an interesting trip down to Bastrop. Unfortunately, we couldn't enjoy senior night, but it worked out well for us, and we get to have an extra game at home, and we're looking forward to tomorrow night down at the field, and we're hoping the weather holds out as well. The weather's been the issue all week. I'm sure the coach will test it out. It's been interesting weather-wise, where you're going to have your cars in the hail and all that. So, but last night was a good win. It's nice, even though we're probably just true district championship. It's nice still to keep the winning ways going and stuff like that.
Tomorrow night, the Bastrop Bears come back in town to take on your Eagles. The Eagles will get to be home team tomorrow night at their own facility. I believe it's going to be senior night, if I'm not mistaken, or we already have it tomorrow night. And so we'll talk to Coach Vierra about that, as the seniors will be honored here tomorrow night before the final game of regular season on Saturday against the Cedar Ridge Raiders, when they come in for the last non-district game on Saturday at 1 p.m. Then the playoffs start. Softball playoffs start this week. Your Georgetown Eagles, district champions, and in the playoffs they play Friday night somewhere here in town against Northeast College, or Early College High School, in their first round ball game. And so good luck to the Lady Eagles as they start playoffs. And your Georgetown Eagles will roll into the playoffs next week. Still waiting to find out exactly who the opponent is. It looks like it'll be Navarro out of Austin ISD out of District 24. But a matchup for the Eagles to look forward to and things to prepare for with the playoffs. The Eagles 17-12-1. They avoided any kind of upset last night. 2 runs earlier in the ball game, gave up 4, and then came back and won it convincingly 9-4 over the Bears, and moved to that 13-1 spot, solidified in first place, another district championship for this Eagle team. And the goals continue to be out there for this team to achieve. The 10 wins in non-district, or in district play, the district championship, and now it's time to set the sights on the next 5 rounds and heading back to the Dell Diamond in seek of another championship. We'll take a quick timeout. When we come back, head coach Jordon Vierra will join us. We'll talk Eagle baseball with the head coach, and then a couple of players will join us here in the next few minutes to discuss the season with them as well. Quick timeout. Back with more of the Eagle Baseball Coaches Show live on SHA. back here live at the Golden Rule, 606 South Church Street, proud sponsor of the Georgetown Eagle Baseball Coaches Show, live here on SHN. And we're joined now by head coach Jordon Vierra. Coach, 17-12-1, back on a winning streak for this team after a nice win to solidify the district championship last Friday night at Eastview. A big win against a 25-4-1, 26 District 25 champion. The Round Rock Dragons on Saturday, a beautiful 7-2 win, and then the convincing win last night over Bastrop. An opportunity to close out district on a winning note tomorrow night. Talk to us about this last 3 games. I tell you what, it was a nice change of pace. The team responded to some adversity. But the pitchers, I think the story has to be this pitching staff continues to perform well.
Right. You know, one of the hallmarks that we constantly talk about when you talk about winning ball clubs is being able to come back from a deficit and be able to hold the lead afterwards and being able to respond. And, you know, one of those things that's been big is our ability to do that a couple times, you know. We were able to do it last night against a good Bastrop team. We were able to go out and score 2, gave up a 4 spot, and then responded very quickly to get right back in the middle of it. So our guys did a great job last night of being able to do that, and we got a great start from Ryan Leininger and got some good relief pitching out of Kyle Ropolo. You know, like we talked about in the post-game show yesterday, it was a challenge for our guys to be able to play quality defense in the end, but we were able to got the big hits when we need to.
You look at at this point in district play, 12-1 on the year. If you look at your starting 3 starters, the depth of this pitching staff, another strong part of Eagle baseball, and another good year on the mound for this team. You look at those starters, and they sit there at 12-1. Only 1 loss, a tough loss, a 3-2 loss to the Crosstown Showdown there to Eastview. Walking into this, as you get into district with the losing record after a tough non-district season, what's the thought there? Is that an expectation? Is that a surprise? How does that look as a coaching staff with what Coach Payne does and is able to do with these kids in the bullpen and to get them ready? But to sit there and look at your starting staff and see the ability for these kids to win ball games for you.
Right. You know, one of the things is how quickly can you learn from your adversity, right? And early on throughout the tournaments, like we've talked about before, we experienced a lot of adversity throughout the first 3 weeks. Right. Played a lot of one-run games that we ended up coming on the wrong side of. We got blown out a couple of times. We scratched some wins in some situations, and you know, we played some good baseball and we played some really bad baseball. But ultimately what we were able to find out is that our guys are able to be resilient, right? They learned a lot in that process. And it's been fun to watch our guys go from the tournament season where they're walking in with their eyes wide open going, oh, my God, here we go, to now it's, all right, here's a game, let's play. And so for that to happen has been a big deal. You know, pitching-wise, when you're able to kind of nail in who your starting pitchers are and you're able to get the quality innings out of those guys that you need, and then you're able to really staple in on who the back-end guys are. And all of those guys are able to come in and attack the strike zone and be able to control the running game. You know, that allows for the defense to stay in rhythm and for the defense to be able to stay where they need to be able to make those plays. And credit to our starting pitchers for the past few months, or for the past couple of months, is they've done a great job of doing that. Of being in the strike zone early, allowing our defense to make plays behind them, and then ultimately just staying competitive. And so when you're able to kind of string all those things together, you're able to get the results that you want.
Last night, the Eagles taking advantage of a lot of base on balls issued by Bastrop Bear pitching. And then once that running game got going, Dave and I were talking about that. Once you got their pitcher into that uncomfortable stage again, the attention was paid to those runners.
Right.
Their catcher struggled.
Yeah.
Mightily last night. You know, every time he touched the ball, there was some struggles there. You know, whether he was dropping it or this, that, and the other, just not quite being able to put it right where he needs it. So.
Right. You know, when I think for us, if we can get to first base, we can start to create some havoc.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things that we talk about all the time is being really good on the bases opens up your offense, and it makes it easier for you to be a quality hitter. You know, when you start stealing bases and you start running, pitchers start to hurry up and they start to expedite and they start to speed up, and catchers do the same thing. They feel like they have to get the ball out of their glove really fast and get it on target and be perfect with it. Otherwise, they feel like they can't throw you out. And so once you start tying all of those types of things together, it opens it up for the offense, because then you get more fastballs where you want. Pitchers start rushing, you get elevated fastballs, and who doesn't like hitting elevated fastballs? And so for our offense to be able to get on first base and start stealing a bunch of bags, you know, that does a lot for our hitters. And we were able to make that happen a few times last night.
Well, obviously congratulations on the district championship, but I look
Thank
at the record for the defending state champions, and you think, my goodness, there's some losses there, but like we talked about before the show, I hope people look at that and we kind of slide into the playoffs as sleepers.
Yeah.
Because you look at the play that we had, we were playing some tough competition, and I think that's on purpose.
Yeah, for sure. We try and go out and we try and schedule the best competition in the state as much as we can. When you look at the 15 games that we played or the 16 games that we played, there was only one team that was in there at the end of the tournament season that wasn't ranked in the top 25. And so for us, we want to go see what we got because we got to figure out if we got a good team or not. And then so in order to do that, you got to go play the best teams in the state on a regular basis. As far as the sleeper side of things, I mean, we're Georgetown. I don't think anybody's looking at us and going, "Oh, we get a dog this week" because of their record. They see the G, they get excited about that, and they know that they're in for it. So I think that the G is still a target regardless of what the record says. I mean, if anybody knows what's going on, they're going to cut out the beginning of it and only look at the games that matter. And the games that matter, we play some pretty good baseball.
Yep.
You talk about as we look forward to the district for the by-district round of the playoffs. District 24 out of Austin ISD, Lassa and McCallum. McCallum having a good season. The district champions there. It looks like it's going to be Navarro. It could be Travis High School as they battle. What do we look for as we go into the playoffs? One, do we expect a 3-game series out of the box, or is it going to be a 1-game series? What do we look for as we adapt to that next week?
And so UIL last year adopted a policy where the higher ranked team gets to pick what the series is going to be, how that's going to look like. We're working on finalizing the details with Navarro at the moment. Right now it's looking like it's going to be a 3-game set. Not ready to totally disclose everything yet, just waiting on all the signatures and everything and everybody's approval of that deal. But that's what we're looking for, and it's looking like Navarro's going to run away with that deal. I mean, even if you look at tiebreakers and things like that, I'm pretty sure they got it solidified in the 4th spot. So we're beginning to prepare for those guys and see what that's going to look like. We're starting to put together some scouting reports and some things like that. So we're excited about the opportunity to get to play quality baseball against quality competition and play games that matter. So that's what we're really looking forward and looking forward for getting back in that playoff atmosphere where things are heightened and things are exciting and it means something.
And that's what we talked about the last couple of weeks of how do you keep these guys focused? Knowing the playoffs are already locked in, and now a district championship, how do you keep focused to get to that point? And these kids continue to do it day after day and come back and perform. It was fun last year. We went on those through that playoff run. You went on 2 arms on the mound a lot in Silva and in Jacob. I went blank on his last name, Haddon. And then you had the luxury of Nolan Jondal right there behind in the only 3rd game of a series we had to play when he came out in relief back at Marble Falls in district time. You knew we had the arms this year to see those 3 starters and that rotation there, and Nolan Jondal being one of those to step in and become one of those pitchers this year as a senior leader that's been through this but yet to be there has also been fun to watch. We expect we might see him. We never know until the lineup gets released by each game, but it's just been fun to watch these kids as they stepped into these roles. We talk about that over and over throughout this entire season. Players finding their role and plugged in right when they've got to be, as Kyle Robelo did again last night, coming in for relief and pitching well. And I felt bad because I said, Kyle's only given up 1 hit during district, and he gives up a hit the next batter. And I was like, and I will not say that again.
Yeah, that's your bad.
But he kept the run off the board. He stays with a 0 ERA alongside Brady Peters in relief. And so it's just been fun to watch his staff after a great staff and a great performance pitching through the playoffs to watch how these kids have stepped into those roles. Riley Leininger that you saw a lot at the plate last year. And we'll talk with him here in a little bit in the DH role as he stepped in as a sophomore. And this year now a key figure on this team that's on the mound once a week. He's out on the field. He's a key cog in that lineup at the number 4 slot for most of this year. And to see how now that role from him last year now plugging in to one of these leaders as a junior has been fun to watch. And so the rest of our district, how do we shake that out? There's a lot below us going on. It looks like Elgin has tried to do their job to separate themselves. But then Eastview, Pflugerville, and Henderson all sitting there. What comes down if they come out tied? Do we go head-to-head? How does that work? I know we had a nice 10-4 cluster last year at the end of our season, and we got first seed out of that because of our head-to-head and a split and all that. How will that work as our district tries to seed out and get ready for the playoffs?
Yeah, so very similarly, some crazy things have to happen for there to be a tie with the way that and to have a play-in. The way that it all shakes out is as far as ties go, the head-to-head between like opponents. is one thing that's taken in, as well as head-to-head against each other. If there's just a single tie. So and then if it's split inside of that, then you end up being able to flip a coin or play the game to play in if you want, depending on how that shakes out. So, they've already started kind of looking ahead at those contingency plans and trying to figure out what neutral sites they're going to want to play at and look at that side. So it's going to come down to tomorrow night for a couple of those clubs, and that's what you hope for, to at least be have your hand in the mix of being able to be in control of your destiny.
Do we continue the same pattern into Saturday's game against Cedar Ridge to stay with the same thought process, the same man on the mound, the next man up on your rotation, and continue to play it, being ready, preparing for playoffs?
Right. Just like it was last week, we went into this talking about winning a series. Right. We got 3 games this week. Our goal is to try and win the series, and to win a series, you got to win 2. We've taken care of the first one. Hopefully tomorrow night we're able to take care of the second one, and then ultimately you look at a game 3 looking for a clean sweep. So that's what we're constantly working for, right? We constantly talk about you got to win 2 out of 3, you got to win 2 out of 3, you got to win 2 out of 3. And so having that approach heading into playoffs is the ultimate goal. As it doesn't matter how you win the 2, you just got to win the 2 to be able to continue on. And so we're continuing to try and use this as a dress rehearsal for the playoffs, of being able to play late Friday night. Wake up early, do our challenger game, simulate having to get up and get on a bus or do whatever you need early Saturday morning. Then be able to turn that into getting ready for BP and then playing a game. Those Saturday days can be long and those Saturdays can be hot. So we're trying to prepare our guys for every possible situation that we can heading into the playoffs. And, like we were talking about today, it's one of those things where we're working on preparation. Because as anybody knows, you sink to your level of preparation. You don't rise to the occasion. So we're trying to make sure that we're preparing the best we possibly can to be ready to rock and roll.
Any contingency plans with the threat of a storm tomorrow night on what would happen if the game gets rained out tomorrow night against Bastrop?
So the plan right now is we're going to look at the weather again in the morning, see what happens with that. If we need to bump up to 5 o'clock again, and hopefully let everything come in after that, that's a possibility. I know it kind of throws a wrench in things with senior night. Unfortunately, we still gotta play to try and get that done. So that's a possibility as well. If we do get washed out, then we'll push to 1 o'clock on Saturday and have to move our Cedar Ridge game back after that, and hopefully still be able to play the doubleheader. Is ultimately our goal, because we still want to get that game in as much as we can. Got to talk to the Cedar Ridge guys and make sure that they're still good with that idea. But that's what we're trying to do. We still want to try and get all 3 games in as much as we can, and it's important that we try and get that done.
So, Device, stick to the social medias, watch for any updates from EFND Baseball and from you and the Facebook page and online. And to see any updates, hopefully we'll get a text so we can be up in the booth ready to go. It was a change yesterday, that curveball. Hey, we're starting at 5. It's like, all right, we'll be there in 3 and set up and we'll make it work. And so we'll be ready to go no matter what. If the pitch is at 5 o'clock or at 7 o'clock, we'll be there for senior night to bring you Georgetown Eagle Baseball on SHN. But a beautiful opportunity for this team to finish off on a beautiful 13-1 season with a win tomorrow night, so it'll be fun to watch. 2 guests that we have tonight, Riley Leininger, one of your juniors on this team, and Noah Boris, another junior on this team. There's only one sophomore. We knocked him out last week talking to David Fluid, but Noah Boris will visit with us along with Riley Leininger. And so we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk to Noah Boris first. We'll let Riley hold on a little bit longer. We talked to Noah back at football season. He's used to this, so we'll bring him up for baseball. And then we'll visit with Riley Leininger before we close it out. You're listening to the Eagle Nation Eagle Baseball Coaches Show live here at the Golden Rule. We'll be right back here on SHN. Back here live on the Eagle Baseball Coaches Show, live at the Golden Rule, 606 South Church Street. We're joined now by a junior who wears number 9 at this sport. Noah Boris joins us now. Noah, thanks for joining us again tonight. We got you in football season and now in baseball. One of the one of the many multi-sport athletes here at Georgetown on this baseball team. It's fun to watch, and as you go through it now, the big question for you is, how is this working with baseball and spring football? How's that going?
It's going pretty good. I got to wake up really early in the morning sometimes, but I can work with it. It's fun. So.
How hard is it staying up with your classwork and everything in the classroom, knowing football early mornings? I see the schedules that Coach has been putting out, these 6:45 on the field ready to go, so that means even earlier at the school. But how does that affect you in the classroom as well?
I just got to make sure I get all my work done in the classroom and just lock in when I'm in the classroom, and so I don't have to do as much at home.
How much are you looking forward to football? A great year last year on the football field as you came in week 3 of the season and became the offensive MVP for this district, and now to go into baseball and to become a key reliever on the mound for this baseball team. 2 solid innings, 3 up, 3 down against Round Rock on Saturday. How is that? How is it staying focused for both sports going, but yet at the same time to be fully engulfed in baseball right now?
I'm really excited to do both. It's really fun going back and forth, having really good teammates, loving all my teammates. It makes it really easy on me. So.
As you guys get into baseball, how much fun is this season becoming for you in the baseball world on this varsity team this year, finding your part in this team, in the spot where you are plugged in? A lot of times seeing you as a courtesy runner, but then coming out of the bullpen. How is that fitting in, and how much fun are you having this year on baseball?
It's gotten more and more fun throughout the season, getting to know everybody more and making more relationships with everybody.
It's fun seeing the quarterback for Kansas City and knowing that he had some baseball background.
Yeah.
And I often think about that when, you're doing baseball and football. What does that translate to when you're tossing a football, and tossing a baseball? Talk to us about that.
I feel like it helps my arm strength a lot. In the morning I'll throw the football, and then when I come to baseball and throw the baseball, it feels a lot lighter, so it's fun to throw it far.
No pressure with Coach Vierra sitting here, but if you had to pick it, if Georgetown played that, hey, you can pick one sport, where's the love for Noah Boris? I know you played hockey growing up. I've seen some pictures, and I've got the inside line on some Noah Boris information. I'll share those hockey pictures with you later, Coach. But what's the true love? What makes Noah Boris tick sports-wise?
I don't know. I can't choose a sport right now. It usually depends on the season. Whichever season I'm in, I'm usually liking that sport the most.
How much are you looking forward now to this playoff run? Spring football has you busy, but this playoff run, you guys are going to go to another level. You went through a tough non-district time, having a great district season, and now as you look forward to the playoffs, how locked in are you as a team? As one of the juniors on this team, one of the younger players on this team, how much fun and how locked in are you guys as a group getting ready for the playoffs?
I think we're all ready. I think we all just got to believe in ourselves to make a big run in the playoffs. I think we can do it. So.
What are your plans after high school?
I'm hoping to play college football.
A lot of people may not know, was invited to the Elite 11 regional at Westlake High School quarterback camp a couple of weeks ago, and just it's amazing that during week 3 of the football season, when your number gets called and you come out and put the helmet on and become the district MVP, all of a sudden this name becomes known around this area. Wow, hey, another quarterback at Georgetown, Noah Boris. Remember that name. First day of spring practice, I see a tweet out there from Snoop Daniel and VAR ATX saying, hey, this name's already known. We need to get him to that next level. How much pressure does that put on you knowing, hey, people know who Noah Boris is this year? There's no surprise when you come out wearing that uniform as the quarterback for Georgetown. What kind of pressure does that apply, and how does it work through baseball getting ready for that?
I just think I gotta believe in myself, keep getting better, and trust the process. So.
How coaching staff, comparing them, what kind of work do you guys, you do a lot of classroom work as well in football, now coming to baseball. As you work with this and this coaching staff for baseball, how much fun do you have in that switch, knowing you're working with two great coaches here at Georgetown, but how much fun is that switch, and how much of a challenge is it going from one set of workouts and one sport and one requirements to now the baseball setup and the baseball workouts and the baseball requirements? How much was that for you and a challenge on you this year?
I wouldn't say it's a challenge. I think it's really fun to go back and forth and, doing different things. So.
Noah Boris, where's number 9, one of the juniors on this Georgetown Eagle team? Any shout-outs before I let you go?
Kyle Ropolo and my sister Ella.
Look, I tell you what, and we got to give a shout out to your dad. He takes care of us each and every home game. He brings us a hot dog and a drink. I tell you what, You get going in that boat, there's no time to make any runs outside or anything. You get going, it's baseball, baseball, baseball. Your dad is one of the best out there, and he takes care of us. And so I got to make sure I mention your dad, Mark, and he's great to us, and we love him and enjoy visiting with him every chance I get. But we do appreciate everything he does for us up in the booth. And so Noah Boris joins us tonight live here on the Eagle Baseball Coaches Show. Quick timeout, and we will get Riley Leininger up here to chat with us as the show continues here from the Golden Rule, 606 South Church Street on SHN. Never mind. Back here live at the Golden Rule. I wasn't paying attention. My wife's over here giving me a dirty look.
Now we're live.
I jumped ahead. The Golden Rule, 606 South Church Street, proud sponsors of the Eagle Baseball Coaches Show. We're joined now by number 21, Riley Leininger, one of the juniors on this baseball team. Riley, thanks for joining us tonight. First and foremost, out of the box, a role player last year as a sophomore on this team, one of the youngest on this team. And we saw you a lot in the lineup as a DH through a majority of the season. You doing battle with other players and kind of taking that spot for most of the year. Now to jump in your junior year, now a seasoned player on this team, still a younger player being a junior and underclassman, but a key role on this team this year. How different is that, and how prepared were you coming into this year to try to take one of those roles and become a leader on this team, having gone through that experience last year of a state championship?
Yeah, so it's definitely a lot different from being just a strict DH to being a pitcher, a first baseman, a shortstop at sometimes, and a third baseman. It's definitely a lot more fun, I'd say, and it's really just it's so much different. Like, it's just from going straight from hitting, and then now I'm a key role like everywhere around the field. Like in practice, I'm at first and then third and short and doing all this stuff, so it's definitely different.
Any chance that you can get coach to ever let you play one position per inning and try to squeeze one in and maybe come in and relieve? No, he shakes his head no.
Dude, that would be so cool, though. That would be so cool.
But this year so far, we've seen you at on the mound at first base, at shortstop, at third base. How key is it that this year now, even as a junior, being in that role player position last year, that you can be a leader to the kids that are having to be role players? That Jackson Rainey that's worked himself into that role that you played a lot last year in the DH and an occasional outfield stint for him. But how much did that help you to be there to help these new role players and settling into their roles to be a big part of this team?
It definitely helps out the team like a lot because I have a for Jackson Rainey especially because he's a DH most of the time and an outfielder. I don't really relate to him on the outfield part at all. I can't run at all, but it's definitely helping out the team a lot, especially getting prepared for the playoffs. And it was rough in the beginning, but it's shaping out pretty good.
Tell us about ring day when y'all got your rings. How special was that? Walk us through that day.
So that was a little weird for me, seeing all those faces, all those beards, Andon Petty and Scott Beam and all those guys. It was weird, but it was so cool, and like I didn't think it was real at the time.
Yeah.
Seeing all those people again, all those faces, man, those beards were weird.
So where do you rock the ring? I mean, where do you probably don't wear it around school, but
No, I haven't worn that out in public yet. It's just mainly just for my family to see and grandparents whenever they visit. So.
That's cool.
How did that experience last year and that run with this team? And you talk about the players, he named a couple of them, Andon Petty and Scott Beam. And you talk about so many seniors that led this team last year. How did that prepare you, that experience and that run with that team and that way y'all work together as a family? How did that help you prepare for a season like this where you were going to look at as a seasoned veteran on this team? Not many sophomores. I think you were the only sophomore on this team last year. Now David Fluitt, the only sophomore this year. How did that help you get prepared for your junior year to become more of a bigger key into this team?
It definitely helped a lot being, like, especially with Mazak. He really mentored me a lot hitting-wise. The seniors last year were great, and David Fluitt, just being like the only sophomore on this team, I can really relate to him. I always tell him put his head down, keep working, and it's just he's really pulling through right now, like as a relief or a starter on Saturdays.
One of those key pitchers you've become this year, and one of the three main starters on this team. Last year, you had those two names, Silva and Haddon, and those are the two names we heard a lot. And then you had the John Dahl would be occasional, and then Wade Denton in relief. Now it's a known. Hey, Leininger's going to be on the mound, and knowing you're in that spot, how fun has it been this year to be one of those key go-to guys that come the playoff time, I'm going to be one of those numbers that Coach sends out there to start and to lead this team from the mound.
Yeah, it's so weird because especially in the beginning, I told Payne I didn't want to pitch at all, and he said, well, that sucks. You have to suck it up and go and do it. And it was a struggle at the beginning. It was definitely – I was way out of my element, but I could throw a little hard, and Payne really helped me out with location and stuff. So it's a lot of fun pitching, especially when I'm doing good. But I still think I'm mainly just a hitter, like in my head.
Last night, a game like last night, we talked about the starting three pitchers are 12-1 in district play. They only lost a tough one against Eastview on one struggled inning there that you had, and you only have the only loss. You turned around last night and came back and battled and had a good game against Bastrop. The second inning, they got a couple of hits there, scored some runs, and then you locked back in. How challenging is that for you as a pitcher, knowing that you didn't see yourself as a pitcher, but to now be in the position you're in, that Coach Payne has helped you to get to, the trust that Coach Vierra has to put you on the mound to lead this team? How has that been for you to be able to lock back in and continue to fight through an inning like that that we saw last night, but you continue to come out and fire until Ropolo locked it down 6 and 7 inning? How does that work for you?
It's always great getting out there and pitching, and it's definitely like relieving to have Kyle behind me because I know that I can count on him to fill up the strike zone and fill it up and getting it out for me. But coming back from that ECU game, I knew that I had to I didn't have to, but I really wanted to get that win back and get back on my rhythm. So that was definitely a reliever.
And one last thing it made me think about, you talk about some games you've been at shortstop on a Saturday game there against Vandergrift, at third base when Brady comes in off the mound, at first base after you pitch. How hard is it to change your mindset and be prepared that when you may come off the mound there, like in inning number 6 last night, Kyle Ropolo goes in to lock things down, that you move to first base? What goes through your mind to prepare then to go to defense now in the field instead of on the mound, to be prepared at first base for what you're going to face, being ready for pickoffs and plays to first base and balls hit at you different?
Nothing really changes mentally. It's still one pitch at a time, one out at a time. It's just different situations. Like if I'm at first, I have to be ready to cover bags, or if I'm at third, I have to make that long throw across the diamond. Shortstop, I have to remember all my signs and pickoffs. But really, it's just one pitch at a time, one out at a time.
As you guys get ready for the playoffs and you start to see the end of this season coming, the end of this school year coming, and knowing that you'll come back as a senior.
So right now, I'm really thinking long term of getting together and creating more of a bond like we had last year, really building a family. And I think that was a really key part last year, was building a really family-like mindset, and these are my brothers. I'll live for them, die for them, do everything for them. I think that's a really big thing we need to focus on next year and this year.
What are your plans for after high school?
Right now, I'm planning on going to college for baseball.
Okay.
Whether it's D1, JUCO, I don't know.
Yep.
But it's somewhere with baseball.
I got to think pitching this year, next year being a third year starter, it could be a lot of fun watching you pitch and watching you play all the different positions and stuff. And while guys are playing football, you're over there practicing all in the off season and stuff. So you could come back even more prolific.
Absolutely. I think we start now in petitioning Coach for next year in the preseason, Coach this summer and through the offseason, just because I wanted to see it. I want to be able to call it and do it. So
let's do it. Let's figure it out.
Coach gave me the Coach gave me the hint. Spit in one hand. I'll see which one fills up faster. But
right.
But it's a chance. We'll take a chance at that one. As you guys go to the playoffs, how ready are you to get this train rolling again? Now to be one of the leaders as you guys head to the playoffs next week. How ready are you to get going and try to achieve that level again that you guys had last year?
I'm pretty ready. I think that the team's also really ready mentally. We faced a lot of really good competition early in the year with all the tournaments, and I think we got
to remember these names. So, number 21, Riley Leininger joins us here live on the Eagle Baseball Coaches Show. Quick timeout. When we come back, head coach Vierra joins us one more time as we get ready to shut it down and bring you baseball tomorrow night live from Eagle Field. Thanks for joining us live here at the Eagle Nation Baseball Coaches Show with the Golden Rule. We'll be right back on SHN. Back here live at the Golden Rule, 606 South Church Street. I thought you were ready for me. I don't know. I'll pay attention next week. I apologize. Miss Mercer joins us live here with Coach Vierra on the Eagle Baseball Coaches Show at the Golden Rule. Noah Boris, Riley Leininger taking off to the team dinner. Everything gets thrown around when the game gets rained out early in the week.
I know.
And so the team headed over to the team dinner to enjoy dinner with the team as they get ready for tomorrow night's ball game. But, Coach, as you rejoin us, so I'm not giving up. We're going to work towards that one player playing all the positions. Riley, I'm on your side. I'll get that going, try to pull that to you. But I tell you what, talking to two of your juniors on this team, as this is a younger team compared to last year when you had the 14 seniors. What does that look like? You know, I was talking to, it was so cool. I saw one of the Georgetown Police Department SROs that works at Eastview and talking about the youth in Georgetown sports right now for Coach Pullen and the team he has, and the two pitchers we face, and Kirchhoff and Reyes, a junior and a sophomore, and the youth there, and then the youth on this team. The future of Georgetown ISD baseball is just wonderful, and it's fun. How do you look at that? As you look at that ever-present crystal ball in the coach's office with Coach Payne and Coach Durrell and Coach Cockrell, how do you guys look at that and be able to adjust on the fly like this? A senior-heavy team last year, and the leadership kind of took care of itself, and then a team like this year, a lot of youth on it, but yet players in the key spots to help be those leaders. How does that take you guys, and how do you guys prepare for that? And then as you look towards next year, knowing you've got a lot of returning players that'll be seniors then.
Yeah, you know, we spend a lot of time in our off season being able to spend a lot of time with our sub-varsity guys. There's not a lot of programs out there that are able to have their varsity coaches spend as much time with the sub-varsity guys as are do. Like Coach Payne runs just about every bullpen in our program. So he's in there with every pitcher and every catcher and every time they're able to go, aside from every game. You know, me and Coach Durrell are able to be in the cages every day with our sub-varsity guys and talk to them about our approach and how we swing and what we're trying to do, and really being able to build into those guys. And so we're able to create that very early as far as what we're trying to accomplish. You know, you match that with the off season that we're able to have and the stuff that we're able to do there. Those are the things that I think that separate us early from a lot of other programs in town. That's not very nice. And so I think that separates us from a lot of teams across the state, as well as inside of our district, as far as what we are able to do versus what we're not able to do. That really does a good part of creating our culture, right? And for us, that's the big thing. And you know, culture is that buzzword that keeps floating around all over the place. So you got to have culture, you got to have culture, you got to have culture. We're lucky to be in a place where we have kids and parents both that really buy into what we're trying to preach. As far as it's not about the individual, it's about the club, and the individual being the best that they can allow the club to be the best they can. It's not about me and right now, but it's about the legacy of the team and the program moving forward. And you know, I think that you combine all those things into this melting pot of Georgetown baseball, and we're able to have young guys that are able to step up the way that they are. We're able to have the older guys who understand it all the way through from beginning to end. who can pass that on to the younger guys that are coming up. And I think that we're very fortunate to be in the place that we are. Georgetown baseball is in a good place. The city of Georgetown is in a good place as far as athletics goes. And, you put all those things together, it makes for a pretty awesome school year.
Now that you're into year 4 as a head coach here at Georgetown, what's the relationships like for you, Coach Payne, and this coaching staff with your graduating seniors? Like the other night, we got to see Anna Petty and Reese Bell were there. Zach Mozick came back. Landon Howe came back for a game. As you see these players come back, what's the relationship, and how are you guys able to keep up with those guys as they do come back home and they do come for a visit? What's that like as you get this team coming back and these players over the last 4 years that come back to see you guys, and how that builds that culture, and these players now see that in those relationships you guys have?
Yeah, it's funny. When Coach Payne first got with us, he showed up, and we've always had an open dugout policy for alumni and alike. And so he showed up, and there was like 4 guys just like walked into our dugout, and he looked around. And he's like, "Who the heck are all these guys, and why is our dugout so full of people that I don't know?" And I was
Legends.
like, "That's a part of it, man. Like that to us is important for alumni to be able to stick their head in the dugout and say hi and to mingle around a little bit and for them to be able to reminisce with the younger guys of what that means. We don't get to do a big alumni game. We don't get to do much of that. The closest thing that our guys get to an alumni game is the golf tournament. We have a bunch of alumni come back and play in that. We're able to keep up with those guys that have graduated, and we text quite a bit. In fact, inside jokes from past seasons get flying around there every once in a while. And, like we've talked about before, that's the best part of the job. Is when those guys get to come back and start hanging around, and they want to come back and they want to say hi. Our objective is to create men of character through Georgetown baseball. And whenever you start to get the wedding invitations like Macy and I have been getting over the past couple of years, getting to go watch former players get married and go watch them experience that new life, and then you start to see older guys that are starting to have babies for the first time and do that kind of stuff. That's the most important part of the job for me personally, and the most exciting part of the job. I mean, we can win as many district titles or state titles as much as you want, but if they leave here and they never want to have a conversation with you, was it really worth it? So,
I love it too. As a parent, when Emily came to the game the other day and said, "Hey, go down there and say hi to Coach," and she said, "Yeah, I got to see H," because she spent 3 years around H, and for her to still be part of the family when she comes into town from A&M that means a lot. And the Georgetown baseball program, I'll always be a massive fan, because kind of one moment after the second trip to state, you lost Coach Foster, yourself, and the other coaches presented Emily with a runner-up ribbon, and she wasn't UIL. Fan stand is not UIL, but yet, Emily and her friend were about to leave. They were packing up, and Coach Foster was like, "Hey, y'all come here." And he pulled two ribbons out of his backpack, and I just I broke down. Just as a parent, getting your daughter involved in something that's bigger than her, and to be part of that family. So if there's anybody out there that's thinking about, do I want my kids to play at Georgetown baseball? Absolutely yes. Without a doubt. I'm telling you, I don't even have a dog in the hunt, but my daughter is a big fan after spending. That was her favorite. Probably shouldn't say this, but her favorite was spending time with the baseball program. The kids are just outstanding character.
I appreciate you saying that.
During the football coach's show, he says football was her favorite part. I'm just so you know. None of my 4 kids went to Georgetown, and I don't know about this history stuff, but congrats to them. And all. No, it's fun to be a part of this. Last year, and seeing Andy Petty came back last week, we got to talk to him, seeing Reese Bell there in the stands on a Friday night. One day, Landon Howe, Andon, and Zach Mozick walked in the broadcast booth on doing the game. It's like, I can't focus here. It's like memories of this team and these players coming back. Speaking of, I think we need to mention it. Your brother. Congratulations to Jaron Vierra and his family. Just named the head varsity girls basketball coach at Hyde Park Baptist School in Austin.
Yeah.
So the only question with that is now he cut off from the dugout. He's not Georgetown anymore.
I mean, he cut himself off whenever he showed up against Eastview and we lost, and that was the only game he's been to. So I called him into the office shortly thereafter, had to give him the bad news he was fired and he wasn't allowed to be around anymore. But no, I couldn't be more proud of him, man. The hard work that he's put in, and the time that he's sacrificed, and the relationships that he's built. He's absolutely earned the right to have that opportunity, and as an older brother, you can't be more proud of the kind of coach that he's become, more importantly, the man that he is, and the values that he's trying to instill in his athletes as well. It's a really fun deal to get to see our family continue to grow away from the game, but including the game as well. It's really special to see him go from a kid that had a hard time making a middle school basketball team to an MVP in a district race to playing in the Final Four in college and getting to work with him here. And so it's a pretty special deal. So I couldn't be more proud of him.
Mike Hards talked about it on the Zone the other day about the hiring there and talking about the family history for the Vierra family and how much you guys mean to him and his family, and talking about your dad's history as a softball coach, and now Jaren, a basketball coach, you the baseball coach of the defending state champions. And I thought that was so cool that it's known, but yet it's talked about, and the impression that you and your brother have made in the coaching community right now, that it's put out there. And this town of Austin and this Central Texas area knows that. And so super congratulations to Jaren. How excited is he now to be? I know he hates to leave Georgetown in that sense. He's a Georgetown person through and through, just like the rest of the Vierra family. But how excited is he just to go and take over a program?
Yeah, he's really excited about the opportunity and about the challenges. As soon as he found out, he immediately started having questions about what can we get rolling, can we get this, can we get this, can we get this, and started firing off. And, he's got a master plan at hand. He understands he's got a pretty good vision of where he wants it to go. And if there's a guy that's got a vision and is going to make it happen, he's for sure it. He's too dadgum stubborn to not. So he's going to do a great job over there. They're going to have a ton of success. It may take a little bit for him to get the culture and the things that he wants instilled in there. But it'll be pretty cool. As far as Mike goes, I love that dude. I've known that guy for a very long time. Got to play fast pitch softball with him for a long time. And his family's great, and it goes way back to whenever he was playing indie ball in Lubbock whenever we were little bitty. So he's been on our family for a while. He's an awesome dude, and I wish I could have heard it. Hopefully I can find it somewhere and see what he's saying. But
Well, Coach, we really appreciate you and your staff allowing Wally, myself, and Kelly access to promote these youngsters and these young student athletes and to pursue this hobby. And we really appreciate you allowing us along for the ride to do the Georgetown Eagle thing.
Well, we're thankful for you guys. We're thankful for you guys showing up on a regular basis and promoting our kids. Not everybody is willing to do that or wants to do that or has the intention in mind of making it about the kids. And for us, that's what it's all about. And I know that that's what it is for you guys as well. It's about promoting the kids and showing how great kids we have in Georgetown. So we appreciate you guys bleeding blue and doing everything that we ask. So thank you for you guys as well.
So you're saying there's a chance at the 9 positions? I'm just Coach Vierra joins us live here tonight. Tomorrow night, if it doesn't rain, if we can avoid the storms, a 7 p.m. first pitch. If not, it'll be moved up to 5 p.m. if we can get that game in, and then Saturday a 1 p.m. game. Stay tuned to the social medias, EFND Baseball on Twitter. Coach Vierra has Twitter account, the Eagle Fight, or GeorgetownBaseball.com, their website, the Facebook page, so it'll be put out there as soon as the updates are made, and we'll try to retweet it out on SHN as well as we get the links ready and get ready to go and do it. So no matter what, we're going to hope for baseball tomorrow and Saturday as we get ready for another beautiful playoff run for this Georgetown Eagle baseball team. Thanks for joining us live here tonight at the Golden Rule, 606 South Church Street, proud sponsors of the Eagle Baseball Coaches Show. Tomorrow night, join us for Eagle Baseball. Come to the coach's ever-popular saying,
show up, be loud, wear blue.
And if you can't be there, join us live on SHN. 15 minutes before first pitch, we'll have a pregame on SHN and bring you SHN presentation of Eagle Baseball. And then Saturday against Cedar Ridge, 12:45 pregame, 1 o'clock start.
You have something to say?
And now Mr. Jameson has something to say to close us out.
Who's shocked?
Let's go, Eagles.
Woo-hoo-hoo. Can't close it any better.
Eagles, baby.
Thanks for joining us live here from the Golden Rule. We'll sign off tonight. See you tomorrow night for baseball from Eagle Field at Georgetown High School. Thanks for joining us. Remember, it doesn't cost you a dime to be kind. Have a good night, everybody.
The Golden Rule, the official sponsor of the Eagle Nation Coaches Show, is located at 606 South Church Street in Georgetown, Texas. Eats, drinks, unmatched atmosphere. Above all else, goodwill, friendship, and kind regard.